Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on the channel. Today we go racing at Gateway, a track where last time we came out at this track last season I had a huge struggle. So I was kind of expecting something similar today. We qualified P6, but before we get going, we're going to show the points coming into this race. We're actually down in P10 in the points. We got 3 wins, but other than that, it's been kind of a rough season and we've missed a couple races, so that hasn't really helped us at all. Andrew actually leads the points over second place of Tyler. Then we got Jonathan there in the third position. Now as we're going to get ready to go green here in the Nitro Racing League from the 6th starting position. Now as you see on pole, we got our teammate of Jonathan, Andrew there in P4 as we are underway from the 6th starting position. Now 22 laps in stage 1, and what I found interesting about this race was stage 1 and 2 were actually shorter than the first 2 stages at Indianapolis. There's a little bit of contact. Now as the 9 car actually goes spinning on lap 1 out of turn 2, and the caution's going to come out on the very first lap of this race here in Gateway as we move up into P3. So we would get, of course, ready for a restart right away here in Gateway, where I would choose the bottom for the choose cone and get ready to go green from P3. So the 24 and the 14 would be on the front row as we would get back underway here with just 20 laps to go in this first stage. So a bit of chaos to start this race here in Gateway, but I was confident we were going to settle down a bit. You know, the races here in the Nitro League have been pretty tame in the first 2 stages, and then it always seems like within the last part of the race, in the final stage, everything just kind of falls apart. So I was kind of anticipating that happening here again once, or tonight, I should say, as we go down toward turn 3. There you see the 19 and the 24 battling it out for the lead currently there between Connor as well as Jonathan, as we had Cameron in the 42 just behind myself, and he would actually be able to stick with me as my car was just not driving very good at all. I was running preset 1. As you guys know, only preset setups is what we can use in the Nitro Racing League. So it seemed like I was definitely chose the wrong one. Now as we came through down this back straightaway, coming through now on lap 8 of this first stage, I actually get to the outside wall, and now we're going to lose a position there to Cameron in the 42. He is going to be able to pass us for that 3rd position as we fall down now into 4th place as we go down toward turn 3. Then the actual, the 4 car would actually start to run myself down here as we came through on lap 10 out of turn 4. Just doing my best to maintain with these guys in front of us, but I really could not. It was definitely a struggle for myself at this point early on in the race, so it was pretty clear that I needed to make adjustments, but I didn't want to make them right away. I wanted to see how the car was going to feel on a longer run here in the Gateway, as we usually have some pretty long runs in the 1st and 2nd stage of the Nitro League. So I was anticipating that for sure. As we came through out of turn 4, though, we would actually get a caution for a crash that happened towards the back part of the field now. So we would all come into the pit lane, put 2 cans of fuel on the car, put 4 fresh tires on. We come out there just behind the 42 of Cameron. Durham nearly is able to get past us in the 4 car, but it looks like we're going to come out here in P5 now as we're going to get ready to go for the choose cone rule again. The 14 actually took 2 tires apparently on the pit stop. I choose the outside lane here behind the 24 of Connor as we would get ready to take the green flag now, and there's less than 10 laps to go in stage 1 at this point. Only 7 laps remaining here in the first stage as we go down into turn 1 there. The 88 of Eddie just behind us actually just barely gets into the back bumper. Doesn't affect us at all now as we come through out of turn 2, but I'm going to hit the outside wall on the exit of the corner, and I bounce down in front of our teammate of Matt O'Brien there and completely mess him up going down the back straightaway. Oh, my fault there. I just made a mistake and unfortunately bounced off the wall into him, and as we come through turn 3, the 41 of Christian, he is able to get past me. He was having major issues with his steering wheel in this race. Now as you see, Matt actually gets back up my inside. A little bit of contact between himself and I as we go down this front straightaway. So now after a terrible restart, we're going to drift down into the 10th position as we go down toward turn 1. You can see the 41 having issues, and that was all because of his steering wheel being messed up. There's a 10 and the 88. They kind of got together there. The 88 gets a little bit slow. I get into the back of him as we go down this back straightaway now as we come through P10 still as we go down towards turn 3 on the right hand side of our teammate of Matt. Now he's going to be side by side with the 88 of Eddie. Now as they nearly make contact through the center of 3 and 4, and out of turn 4 you see Eddie drifts up a little bit, so I get to the inside of him now as we're going to be side by side for that 9th position. And all of the Hendrick cars pretty much right around me, of the 88 there on my outside, the 48 and the 9 behind us, and then of course the 24 though running up in front of us now as we came through on lap 19 of 22 in the stage. They go 3 wide in front of us there, the 20, the 41 and the 14, and they go 3 wide into the wall. Some of them did. The 14 specifically, they leave the door wide open. I go through the middle, and then we got the 88 of Eddie also following through, taking advantage, and now I move up into P7 here as we come through out of turns 2. So now trying to run down at 6th place of Matt O'Brien, but we came through to the final lap, and you can see he actually pulled away from me instead. So as you guys know, the top 5 only get stage points in Nitro, and unless something happens here between Matt and the 10 car of Blake, then we're definitely not going to have a chance to get any stage points as we exit turn 2. There you see Andrew is now moved up into that 8th position as we go down this back straightaway for the final time here in Gateway in stage 1 as we dive down into turn 3. Just hoping that something would go wrong there, but obviously, as you can see, nothing happened. So we're going to come through to get P7 in this first and opening stage, which means we will have to settle for no points here in stage 1, unfortunately now. So not what we were looking for in this first and opening stage, but there you saw the 19 of Jonathan, our teammate, was actually able to win stage 1. Then we had Cameron in 2nd, then we had Connor in 3rd, Durham 4th, and then Blake rounds up the top 5 for the final stage points. So we only had one Joe Gibbs racing car in the actual stage points paying position in that first stage. So we would come into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, get ready to go green here for the start of stage 2 from the 7th position. So Matt O'Brien there on that row in front of us alongside Blake in that number 10 car as we are underway for the second stage here. On the right side of us, we got the 9 of Andrew Wisdom, 19 laps here in stage 2. So a little bit shorter, I think 3 laps shorter as we dive down into turn 1. There you see Jonathan leads the way as I get a lot of curb action there through turn 1 as well as turn 2. As we exit the corner, there you saw Blake on the outside wall, so he loses a spot. We clear Andrew on the exit of the corner, so we hold on now to the 6th position as we go down toward turn 3 behind Durham, who's near that back bumper of the 20 of Karma as we come through, trying to get up the inside, but can't quite make it work. And something that really felt off for me is I felt like I was getting to the throttle way too late on the exit of these corners compared to everybody else now, as we would, though, be able to fight up the inside of Durham as we came through into turn 3 now on the 3rd lap of the second stage, and we're going to be side by side, but we clear them on the exit of turn 4. So now we move into stage points position of P5 and try to run down 4th place of our teammate of Matt. Sure enough, we would run him down, nearly get to the side of him on the exit of turn 2, but we're going to be side by side on the exit of the corner. He hits the wall now, so we take over P4, clear him no problem, but then Andrew's able to carry the momentum and get to my inside as we go down toward turn 3. So the position I just gained on Matt is going to get completely wiped here once Andrew is able to pass me on the exit of turn 4. So we drift back down to P5 immediately after passing our teammate of Matt. So we just settled in for a moment behind Andrew, and we came through though on lap 8. And now Matt was able to get back up my inside into turn 3, as I just did not, like I said, have the car that I needed here. As every time we come to Gateway, it's always a struggle for myself. As we exit turn 4, he slides up in front of us there. We get to the back of him. That's going to allow the 48 of Tyler to get right into the mix now as we came through on lap 14. Though surprisingly, he wasn't able to make a move. So we come through out of turn 2 now on lap 14. The caution would actually come out again here in Gateway now for once again an incident towards the back of the field. So we would once again come into the pit lane. This would force a late second stage restart, just like we had in stage 1. So we come through, put in 2 cans of fuel, as well as put 4 fresh tires on the car, and we're going to come out just behind the 20 of Matt here, and it looks like we will be P8 for the restart now, unless we maybe get a little bit lucky here with the choose cone rule, which what got very weird here. A whole bunch of us were in the middle, and there's 2 options in the choose cone rule, bottom, top. Well, a bunch of us went middle, but we kind of migrated up to the top now, and we got back underway from P12. So clearly a loss for myself, as there's a big chunk up into turn 1 on the restart now, as the 20 kind of got the worst end of that now as I slammed into him. We had absolutely no warning that was happening. Now as the 24, he hits the outside wall. They're going crazy everywhere. Goodness gracious, we nearly hit Blake, but we're able to pass him now as we're side by side with the 41 of Christian, who's still having steering wheel issues as we go down into turn 3. He was having issues the whole race long as we come through now. Tyler found himself leading as we came through to just 2 laps to go in the stage, but Jonathan was able to get back up the inside of him, as you see me get up the inside of the 41 of Christian, and now we're right to the back of MJ in the 43. We're going to make a 3 wide with MJ as well as Christian into turn 3 and try to get at least up into P8 or so, and we're going to be able to take P8 without an issue over MJ as we come through out of turn 4, coming through to the final lap here of the second stage. Christian now in P7, putting the pressure on Andrew Wisdom as we come through to start the final lap in stage 2 at this point now, as we go down towards turn 1, trying to maybe get up the inside of the 41. Doesn't happen. Then the 43 gets into the left-hand side of us. He made a mistake going into the corner, went through the grass, hit us. Everyone keeps it straight there as you saw a whole bunch of contact. The 48, who was leading with 2 to go on the stage, is now behind us as we move up into P7 on this final lap of stage 2 as we're up the inside of Christian as we go down into turn 3. Jonathan is going to be able to hold on easily over that 42 of Cameron to win the second second stage, and we exit turn 4, clearing the 41 of Christian. And once again, though, no stage points for us here in this second stage as we come through to get the 6th position. So far, not the race we've been looking for, and we still have one stage, of course, to try and turn things up now. It was pretty evident that just the preset we chose was not the way to go. And like I said, I chose preset 1 coming into this race, and I heard some other drivers actually went with preset 5 and whatnot, so quite the difference here, and it seemed like it wasn't really working in my advantage now as we get ready to go green for this 3rd and final stage here in Gateway. Jonathan on the front row along with the 42 of Cameron. There's the 34, did not get going on that restart, so we all get kind of checked up behind him, and as we go down toward turn 1, we will drop down to about the 8th position or so here, as there looked like a little bit of contact between myself and the 34, a bit of net coating there, now as we come through out of turn 2, and then I make it worse, and I kind of squeezed him up there on the exit of the corner. So now we run P7 as we go down this back straightaway. Still a little bit over halfway to go in this race as we go down toward turn 3. Jonathan all the way down on that curve, nearly into the grass, I think, as we come through the center of 3 and out of 4. Now closing in on the back of the Hendrick Motorsports driver now, as we could have made a move to the inside, but I tried to make the top work, and I get such a bad exit on the exit of turn 2. Now as we come through on lap 49, that opens the door for Matt to get back up my inside. So now we're trying to fight for 7th place as we go down into turn 3 now, as it honestly felt pretty hard at times to make passes on the bottom, so I was kind of comfortable with being up on the top here as we nearly come together on the exit of the corner, but we were able to stay ahead of our teammate of Matt O'Brien. Tyler still battling it out with Christian, but he would clear Christian, and then I would be able to follow through and get to the inside of that 41 as well now, as Jonathan still leads over 2nd place of Cameron. Andrew Wisdom now into P3. Jay, he had gotten up to 4th and fallen down to 5th there. As you saw, we were on the inside of Christian, under braking. His car slams into mine, and then out of turns 2, I push up so much, and actually Christian gets into the wall there. He did not mean to run into me whatsoever. It was just the steering wheel issues he was having, and then we come through now on lap 53 up the inside of Jay, and down the back straightaway we would be able to pass him. So we would move back up inside of the top 5 here with a little bit less than half of this race to go here as we go down towards turns 3. So we continue on to lap 59 now, and a couple cars behind us actually in the back of the field once again would go crashing. So once again, a caution would come out here in Gateway and force a pit stop upon all of us now. So P5, the car, honestly, this is the best the car felt throughout the whole race, and I was still making minor adjustments with wedge, tire pressures, and even grill tape a little bit here and there. So we came out here in P5 for the restart. I choose the top for the restart now after the choose cone, so we're going to be starting behind the 48 here now as we get back underway. Once again, now less than 40 laps to go now, as you got the 19 and the 9 on the front row. The 19 was the leader on the restart, so he controlled the restart now from that top lane as we come through out of turn 2. But keep in mind, the 19 and the 9 actually have some bad blood lately there, as you see myself get into the outside wall there. Just a simple mistake on my part, and that's not the first time tonight in this race that I have done that. Now as we go down into turn 3, trying to get back to the outside of the 4 car of Durham as we come through the center of 3, and for the 88 of Outbreak moves up the track there and gets into the side of us. We hit the outside wall, not intentional at all from him, just a little bit of a mistake, but we both equally lose the same amount of ground and give up a spot to the 24 as well as the 38. And as we go into turn 1, I send it way too deep into the corner, open the door for our teammate of Matt O'Brien, who makes contact with myself as well. I came down there, I hit the outside wall after that, but I came down into him. I did not anticipate him actually going for that move, so that was all on me now as we came through on lap 66. We were down in P12 after that chaos. Now as we go down the back straightaway, passing the 34, and then we would get to the outside of the 10 car of Blake, and sure enough on lap 68 out of turn 2 we would be able to pass him and move back up into P11 now as we went down the back straightaway. So we came through now to lap 69, nice, and we had run this next group of cars down here, Durham and Matt going for that 9th and 10th position as they were battling it out there. As you see, they go way up the track as we come through out of turn 2, so we're going to be able to pass the 4 car of Durham and then get, like I said, to the back of our teammate of Matt O'Brien as we came through on lap 70 down the back straightaway. Now as you see, RJ, he had just gotten into the outside wall and he hits the wall again on the back straightaway and cleans everybody in the path of him out, including myself and the 41 of Christian, and the caution comes out in Gateway. RJ just simply hit the worst spot possible on that back straightaway. As you guys know, there's an opening in the back straightaway which is extremely dangerous, and I don't know why Gateway does it. but he hit kind of that opening, and I could have tried to avoid him, but I honestly did not know where his car was going to go, so I just held my lane and unfortunately drove right into the back of the 38 of RJ. So we would get back underway though, and obviously you saw I had to start at the back of the field. There's Jay would actually go crashing in turn 1, but it was all by himself, so no caution came out. But then the 10 car gets into the left side of me, puts me in the wall, so we've been put in the wall 3 times now in this third and final stage. So we drift back down to P13. Then the caution actually came out after that whole incident, including myself getting put in the wall. I did not cause a caution, but when that was happening, there was another crash behind us. So we get back going once again for the restart, but at this point we only had 21 laps to go as I go to the outside here through turn 1 and 2, and we're going to try to get to the outside there of the 43 of MJ, and we do get to the outside and nearly clear him, but then I almost get into the outside wall, so I have to back out of the throttle quite a bit here as we're P11 going down the backstretch. You can see it's looking like it might get a little bit crazy as we go down into turn 3 there on the outside of the 24 of Connor as we come through on the exit. He moves up the track, a mistake from him, and we nearly get into the outside wall. Thankfully this time we do not hit the outside wall, so we keep it going now as this third and final stage. Definitely not going how we had originally planned it would. Now as we go down into turn 1, the 95 slides up there as I go between him and the 24. We're actually 4 wide for a very brief amount of time as we're going to be side by side with Jay, and we clear him down the back straightaway. So back into P11 we go. We would get to the outside as well of the 43 of MJ through turn 1 and 2, and then I get into the 4. Then the 43 hits me in the left rear, pushes up the track, and once again we've been put into the outside wall. What a disaster this third and final stage has been for us right now here in Gateway. Now as I'm trying to hold on to P12 as we go down into turn 3, hoping now that we're going to get some crashes in front of us so we can get our chance to get back towards the front of the field, or at least to the top 5 now, as I would be able to fight back once again up the inside of Jay on lap 83, and I clear him for P11. Then once again we got the 10 car actually having issues with the 48 maybe, as well as you see Andrew Wisdom having issues as well, who has been running up front lately, now finds himself behind us in P9 as I send it up the inside of RJ. That might have been my fault now as we come through out of turn 4, so we will pass him for 7th place there as I make a bit of a mistake, but then the actual caution comes out now once again an incident behind us. So we would get ready for a late race restart here on lap 88 we were coming to, as we would be restarting on the bottom. The 42 has a bit of a slow restart there now, so we kind of get stuck behind him with 13 laps to go as we go down into turn 1. Jonathan trying to take the lead back now as we were 3 wide for a moment, I think, between myself, Jonathan, and his Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Andrew. So we're P8 now, down the back straightaway. Then, well, I get into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2. I just put myself in the wall, and I go all the way to the bottom. RJ, he goes even further lower than myself, but then he actually backs out of it, so I'm able to hold on there as we go down into turn 3, just behind, now up the inside, actually, of the 20 of Matt. I would pass him, sure enough. Then we would be 3 wide up the middle between Jonathan and Edward there, and we come through out of the corner. I was trying my best to make sure we did not get into Edward. They actually come together again, and then hit me for a moment now as we go down the back straightaway. So Matt, he's able to get up my inside all of a sudden and pass us into turn 3 with now just 10 laps to go, as there's a little bit of contact on that right rear of his now, as we're going to see Andrew Wisdom get up into the mix now as we get up the inside of Matt O'Brien and pass him as Edward Skewer. We pass him as well now. So Andrew Wisdom, though, would get up the inside of the 4 car. He would take the lead, and now we came through to lap 96. 5 laps to go. I'm all by myself running P5 at this point. Finally, things have settled down, and we had passed the point of a caution, so once we hit lap 96, no more cautions. We must stay green to the end of the race. So I was just kind of chilling out here in P5, realizing that I probably wasn't going to run these guys down, but as the laps were winding down, they were battling quite hard from 2nd and 4th. So I was actually getting up into the mix here. The 24, the 19, the 42, all going at it. Andrew had run away with this unless he crashed. He was going to win this race. There was no chance anybody was going to run him down. So we come through, did 2 laps to go. The 24 has kind of gotten away, so now it's the 42 and the 19 of our teammate Jonathan battling it out. There's a bit of a mishap from the 19 on the exit of turn 2, so I attack, trying to get whatever I can. If I see a chance for a P3, I would love P3 here as we go down into turn 3. So we clear our teammate of Jonathan, but he actually slams into the back of us into turn 3, moves us right out of the way as we come through out of turn 4. So at this point, I had realized we've been put in the wall so many times here in this final stage. So we come through to the final lap. At this point, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go and try and just wreck the 19 right here. So I dive into turn 1, and I had fully committed to try and hit him, and I completely missed. So that was the end of that. As we come through out of turn 2, I went for the hit, I was hoping I would maybe turn him, but he did. We had a talk after the race. He did obviously not mean to do that. but we were all okay at the end of it. But right there, I was definitely a little bit annoyed. So we come through, though, through turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in Gateway. A disastrous race for us, and somehow we're still going to come out of it with a top 5 finish as Andrew Wisdom comes through to pick up the victory. So congratulations to Andrew there to come through to cross the line in the 5th place. Cannot complain about P5, especially after how bad that third and final stage was. And honestly, I felt like we were about a 5th place car throughout this whole race, as you kind of saw us running around that area for the most part. So we're going to check out, though, the point standings before we end this episode here at Gateway there. So actually, the 19 now leads the points over Andrew Wisdom by 2 points. Tyler down to P3, 21 back. We are actually up 1 spot into P9 there, as we are obviously way out of the mix now. Like I think it says 94 points there or something like that. So now, as always, if you guys enjoyed, you do know what to do. In the next episode, we will be going to Kentucky. There's not many races left in the regular season. We have Kentucky, Chicago, Pocono, Watkins Glen, Darlington, as well as Daytona to round out the regular season. Then we have the playoffs. So not a lot of time, like I said, left in the regular season. But as always, I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. And like I said, if you enjoyed, you know what to do. And I will see you guys, though, in the next one at Kentucky for the Nitro Racing League. So have yourselves a great day, everybody.